Okay, this is the tutorial on assignment number 3, which is related to the alien phase. Let's start it. This is the alien that we have I sent it to you guys in perspective. Um, I opened Photoshop and I have the two images here, the elevation and the front that we were going to work with. We need to make sure that the canvas size of the image is it's square. There's two options for this. In this case it's square already, so it's fine, but if it's not, just increment um, the size so it becomes square, or at least it becomes a proportion that you can insert afterwards very easily into Maya. So once you have those, I'm gonna close Photoshop. Just wanna minimize, and this is Maya. So the first thing we need to do is go to Windows, Setting Preferences, and go to settings, and under settings we need to change the units to inches. We need to work in inches since we're United States. I do not recommend changing the axis to Z, as I said probably 2 classes ago. I recommend actually maintaining it in Y. If you change it to C, you're gonna have problems of panning and rotating and orbiting around the scene. So just keep that in mind. At least in my computer it gives me a lot of problems, so I just always keep that in Y. If I want to take it from Rhino, I just make a group in Rhino and rotate it there. It's quite simple. So yeah, inches should be fine. Save. And now we need to put the images in class. I say the simple way to do it by assigning the material to a plane. Here I'm going to do another option that is more professional, I guess. We're going to go to 4 views. I right click here to get the 4 views, and I need to insert in the front view. I need to insert an image to the camera. This is kind of weird, but from in Maya, camera, it's also a camera for the front view. So it's a camera for the front view, it's a camera for the right view, another one for the top, and another one for the perspectives. We're actually managing cameras, not views as it is. So we can actually insert an image associated with that camera. We say view, insert plane, import image. If we press there, immediately goes to well, I went to my folder where I have my images, and this is the front view that I need to select the front image associated with that camera, and I say open. Immediately you have that image. You need to, if I press Ctrl A, for the attribute editors, we can quite change a couple things here. You just don't have to click this, just maintain unclick, use image sequence, or just don't change much out of here, but make sure that this is unclick as well. If you have it, you need it to infix option, and if you Control A again to the attributes and the camera, so you can see in the perspective, we see the camera. This is the camera, front camera seen from the perspective camera. The camera is associated with an image, and that's why in the attributes, if we select the camera here, which is the front camera, we will have several options. One of them being as an input that we have placed by selecting the image plane 1, which is this guy. If we press there, we're going to be able to change the size and the relationships of that of the dimensions of that image. Now I'm going to do the same for the insert another image from the right. So I have to be in this window in the right view and say view, image plane, import image, and in this case we need to place the elevation. As you can see, for some reason they're different size. It's because we have to actually also go select in the perspective the other camera, the elevation camera, the right camera, go down in the channel box again and press image plane, and you see the width and height here. We can press those two, and as you remember, let's go to the perspective. We can change by pressing the middle button of the mouse and dragging right and left as much as we want, and it will be related to the center. Now we need a reference size, so I'm going to do a box which is going to be in the middle, and I'm going to scale it I go to channels box here and polycube, or you can also control A and go to polycube here. It's the same, and check the height. As you can see, it's changing here to 10. It's pretty much the size of a head. You can put even 11 because it's an alien, so it's kind of weird. Control A gate to go back, and we basically need to make sure. Let's put it in shade in smooth. We need to make sure that this head is pretty much that size, not that exactly. So we need to select the camera, go back down to the image plane, let's remember, and change the width and height. I'm pressing one and then the other one, pressing shift to select both of them, and I'm dragging again by pressing the middle button of the mouse until it gets pretty much close to that size. As you can see, we have to move it also vertically, for example, and check these arrows here to know what is vertical and what is not. The Y in this case dragging with the center button, and probably making it a little bit bigger, and again Y a little bit down, and I think it's quite fine. So in this case, this one we needed to be like that. Now we need to size the other plane accordingly. So we need to select the plane and do the same thing. Come down in the channel box, select the image plane, and change the width and height by clicking shift to select both of them, and I'm dragging the center button of the mouse again down, and now I need to move it down with the Y axis. I'm gonna get rid of the box because that's fine. We know that this head, this image now, it's the size that we want. So now let's again select the camera here, go down to the image, down, and size this accordingly. As you can see, it's not fitting exactly, but we can move it in the Y level, Y axis a little bit. And in order to test it, we can move it also in the Z a little bit, see if the lips are matching. I think it's good, and the top is quite good, I think. And now we can move the Z of this plane and dragging more of this guy to the side and put it a little bit backwards, and do the same for this guy, image plane down, and move it according to the X back. There we go. So now we know that this guy is center to the axis, and we can kind of model this guy, and this one's gonna be very good. So we're gonna start the model here. Another thing that I will do is select these two planes, which selects the cameras, and pretty much select the image and select the ones that we've been changing, and right click lock, so we won't be able to change these images at all. No. So now we're going to start placing the box and doing the symmetrical transformation of the box. Okay, I recommend you guys to save, of course. Let's go to the next tutorial. And the camera